Hello and welcome back. We had a little hiatus, but we are back, and tonight we are shifting some gears, and we are talking comedy tonight. That's right. So I am Corey Alexander, comedian, along with
Coleman Green. Oops.
Yeah. Oh man, would you hold your mic steady, please?
Oops.
And don't make love to your mic either.
Oops.
You weirdo. Anyway, we are here. We are talking comedy tonight. We have a couple of different topics, but tonight, Coleman,
Yes.
who never does his homework,
Never.
but I still love him anyway.
Never.
He snuggles with me. I call it even. Tonight, we are talking about bad weather gigs. Bad weather gigs. So whether you arrived and it was shitty weather for the weekend you got there, or what you had to go through to get there.
Well, it hasn't been a lot, but it's been a few.
There's been a few. So anything offhand, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
As you think, as you noodle.
No, I got a couple, but go ahead.
So one of the worst ones I had to do was I was working at the time, and it was literally coming in a huge storm that had started at 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I call up. I was out in Lancaster for the gig. I call up the owner and I said, "So here's the deal. It is coming down." He's like, "Oh, we're still having it." I'm like, dude, you realize it's going to be like 7-8 inches by the time like 8 o'clock rolls around. "Oh, we're still having it." So I still had to work. I got off work at like 5:30. So Lancaster's like an hour from me. I had to go home, shower, change, get my stuff for the weekend, and then get out there before 8 o'clock. So I literally ran home, did all that stuff in like an hour. So I left at 6:30. I go the back way because I heard the turnpike was a mess. So I had to go the back way. As I'm getting on there, it is just teeming snow, right? It is literally coming down like just in just a white blanket, like layer after layer. I am driving 30 miles an hour tops. So it takes me normally like 45 minutes an hour to get out there. I figured now there's no way I'm going to be on time. He changes the time to 9 for the show because he realized the snow is going to come in. So it's now 9 o'clock. So I leave at 6:30. I get out there doing 30 miles an hour thing. As I'm getting onto the bypass 30, I can see way up top where it merges into one lane for the rest of the way to Lancaster, a whole way, right? The plow is up there, and there is a line of about 10 cars behind the plow. And I'm like, no, don't even tell me he is now going to go all the way out. He didn't go all the way, but he went pretty much halfway. The plow went all the way, 20 miles an hour for the plow.
Wow.
With the snow. I left at 6:30. I got there at 10:09. It took me nearly 2.5 hours
You got there right before the show.
Oh, my God. And I get there. I walk in, and he said, "Well, we're going to wait a little bit." And I said, are people even here? I'm like, dude, it just took me 2.5 hours. I am fried. I threw my shit in the room. I literally got there, got the key, threw shit in the room within like 3 minutes. As it's still snowing, I'm stepping in like 7 inches of snow, trying to get to the office, get the key, get to the room, get back to the show. And those guys had come down from New York at like noon because they knew everything was coming. And so I'm sitting there, and the bar has got maybe 8 people. So I'm like, even if we took those people in there, those 8 people were not there. They were staying for the weekend and stuff, and they were not interested in doing the show. There were 3 people that came to see the show. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing it." I'm like, and the other 2 comics are like, "Are you serious?" There's as many people as there is comics.
Wow.
At the very last minute, at like 9:20, he calls off the show.
After all that shit you went through.
I'm like, dude, I could have just totally came tomorrow. Didn't need to come tonight. But he was the kind of guy that's like, if I'm paying you, you got to be here.
Sure.
That stuff. I'm like, dude.
Mike Moose.
Oh, he killed me, man. He killed me. So yeah, that was like that. And I was literally white knuckling it because I was upset that I was going to be late because I knew I wasn't going to be there on time. And this was like 20 years ago when I was an MC. So I'm MCing and I know I'm going to be late. So I'm so nervous. I'm behind all these people. Nobody's, of course, going fast. And he couldn't because it was coming down. The windshield wipers could barely keep up. And that was when I was just like, oh. And then, so I battled this. I'm telling him the story, right? I'm telling him like how bad this is, and all this whole stuff. And the comments like, dude, that sucks. So like, yeah, it should have taken me maybe an hour. It took me nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, you want to get something from the bar? And I'm like, okay, all right. So yeah, set the kid up.
He make you pay?
I'll give you 50% off. Dude, 50% off, you cheap ass.
Oh, wow.
And I liked him. It was Dave.
It was Dave?
Yeah, it's Dave.
Wow.
I like Dave. I'm like, dude,
I'm
you
surprised.
couldn't. I battled this whole thing. You can't just, front me a little, just a free meal.
Wow. You didn't get a free meal up there?
No,
I can't remember.
It was always like you got like 25% off or something like that.
I can't remember.
But he never gave me a full free. The only time I got a free meal is when the bar guy, I don't know what it was, but it was like this. It was this Friday night where nobody showed up again, but it was like it wasn't for anything other than just it was a bad night. It was like maybe it was rain or something, and he hooked me up because Dave wasn't there.
Well,
but Dave, if he was there, never.
I don't remember.
Never gave you anything for free. And so the back bartenders loved me, and I always got free drinks back there, which he didn't know about. But I don't think if he cared about that. But the food, man, he was real.
Wow, I can't. Listen, I can't remember.
And I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day. I was I was
the damn
worried to get
snow
there.
all damn day.
Oh, that was brutal. That was one of those, like, you got to be kidding me. And then I did another one, a white knuckler, same thing, snow to Northeast.
Philly?
And and I was closing that night, and that's where I called Karen. I'm like, dude, I am on. I left. It was an 8:30 show. I left at 7:15. I said, the highway was literally snow covered. There was no plows out yet. So I was like, I'm not going to be there on time, but she's like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, and there was, I can't believe this. There was like 30 people at the show.
Probably the neighborhood, but I got one better than that, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you always do. You always have to. You always.
I'm trying to open you up, but
it took you this long to invent a story.
Listen, come on.
It's not even true. This is gonna be a buddy story.
You talk about Lancaster and Northeast Philly.
Where'd you go? Maine? Where'd you go?
Damn near. Remember the Playhouse up in
Connecticut?
No, it was in part of New York. Damn near Buffalo, New York.
Oh, that Playhouse. Yeah.
The Playhouse.
The one that Ralph Tedder runs. He runs that now, yeah.
Not Ralph Tedder. It was another guy. It was called the something Playhouse.
Yeah. I do know that one, yeah.
And I got a call in the afternoon. They needed a feature up there. And I was like, all right. But, nobody called me back. Then he called me like, oh, I need you to go up there. Now, it's like 5 o'clock. And I had to find somebody to take care of my kids. I got there.
What was it? Now, on a normal day with no traffic.
It was snowing, and at that time, what's the little neons?
What's like a normal time to travel that?
It was like 5 hour. I think it's 6 hour, 5 hour drive. 5
or 6 hour drive.
7, 8, 9. Wait a minute, I had to be here. Maybe I left around 3. Maybe it was 3 I left, but I know it was. I was pushing it.
It was like a 6 hour drive?
It was pushing to get there by 8, 9.
So normally without traffic or rain or anything, it's about 6 hours?
Yeah, but it wasn't a lot of traffic. It was just the weather was bad. I mean, it was so bad. Listen, even I had white knuckles.
Which is a rare thing
man,
for a black man.
It was snow was blowing across the road, and I was in a little neon.
Oh.
Bro, I was scared shitless.
That neon should have been blown across the road.
Man, by the time I got there, I had
you must have weighed it down.
Listen, maybe. Thank God I did. Because that shit would have blew over the fucking road.
In the car. That would have gone right back to Philadelphia.
Man, it was I think it was something Hackett, New York. Something Hackett, New York. I can't remember, but I know Sackett, something.
Sackett Harbor, something like that?
Sackett Harbor. Man, when I got there at enough time to go right up on stage. And I did my show and everything. But I'm telling you, I was like, I'll never see my kids again. I mean, I'm in the car. I'm crying because it was that bad. And then that night, Saturday night, after the show, the second show, well, I got there Friday, did the Friday show. Saturday night, we got about like 9 inches up there. Yeah. Now I'm thinking like I'm stuck in this motherfucking for
a whole week.
Man. But thank God that morning they plowed and the sun came out. Man, I got out of that little neon. I got the.
They're good. Buffalo, they got that shit down. Unlike Philadelphia.
Yeah, unlike Philadelphia.
They know what they're doing
used to the snow.
Yeah,
so,
they're used to it. Yeah.
But it was going up there, and like I said, he told me at the last minute, and to going through all that, man, I'm telling you, I was scared.
I mean, a 6 hour drive at the last minute. It
was scary, and I got there right at the last minute. Now I've driven through a lot of rainstorms, but I think that was the only.
I've driven some hellacious rainstorms,
but that's the only snows. And I ain't gonna say which is worse because rain is a motherfucker too.
Oh my God, I'll never forget. You and I did a gig together. This was out in Jersey. This is a long time ago. This is like when the first couple of years I did comedy, and you were featured and I was opening. And I forget who. It might have been Rubber Face or something like that. But it was a private gig through the Cabaret in Jersey, and I'm coming down off of the Walt Whitman
Right.
Now, do you remember at Walt Whitman when you get onto when you're going still like 76 extended? I don't know if you remember this, but right after that bridge that you get onto the little highway there, they're so old and they haven't redone it. There's like divots in the road. There's little like gullies, right?
Right.
So I come off. I mean, it was raining pretty good, but I just was like, I wasn't paying attention, and I was on the phone stupidly, and I'm coming off there, and I hit that thing, and dude, I hydroplaned, and it was forcing me to that brick median.
Wow.
So I came and I was like this, and I said, I gotta call you back, and I threw the phone down, and I had both hands turn the wheel, and I was going like this, almost sideways.
Damn.
And the car was going into the other lane, and there was a dude that backed off. Because I was starting to turn sideways because the car just couldn't. It was like in this gully, but it flipped over to this. I was really scared. I really thought that was the end. I thought that was hitting that wall and banging and done. It was nasty shit.
I have driven some rainstorm where I can't see, and I'm blind as a motherfucker anyway, so I can't see. It's been some bad ones. Just a couple weeks ago, I was in a rainstorm going to a gig, and now that I got my glasses, it's not as bad.
Okay.
But before,
you were just trying to be a manly. I can do it.
I never thought about bad weather go gigs. But that one of the Second Harbor, that was the worst. I mean, I said,
that's like Seinfeld. Like, Corey, is that a raccoon? That's a mailbox. Oh yeah. Okay.
No, that was so. I mean, I literally thought I would not see my kids again.
Damn,
that's how scared I was. I was.
Yeah, we
so
see that snow
scared.
going sideways. It starts to blow the car. I mean, I get nervous as hell.
It was bad, but I haven't been. Now I did one last year. The promoter wanted us to come up the night before because he said it was going to snow, and we got there before it snowed. But then the next day it snowed, but they cleared it out. It was up in Scranton, and they cleared it out. We had about 80-something people.
No kidding.
They usually get more, he said, but we had like 80-something people there that night. So
maybe that's it. Some people need to just get out, especially if it snowed the night before. They just want to get out and do something.
yeah, and it was snowing that day all the way up to like 3 or 4 o'clock, and I was like, oh shit, we're not gonna have a show.
Yeah.
But no, they turned out, man. It was pretty good.
They paying you. They're gonna make sure the people were there.
Yeah, but he did all right. So
speaking of showing up, the thing that was the one I was doing a Wisecracker gig out in State College, and it wasn't any bad weather. It was just talking about getting there at right at time. So I'm getting out there. I left early because I know it's Penn State, and it's like I guess it's like a 3-hour drive. I left around 4. I was getting there right about 7, and it was probably like 5 of 7. And I'm pulling up in the parking lot, and my cell phone rings at the same time, and it's Scott Bruce. And Scott's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" He's like, "Just checking where you are." I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually pulling it right now. I'm about to get the room, and I'll see you at 9." Because the 9 o'clock was always the start time, and then it was 8 and 10 on Saturday. Right. He goes, "We're starting at 7." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Did they not send you the email?" I'm like, no. I said, I got no email. He said, there's a 7 and a 9 tonight, just one night. And I was like, okay, well, it's 2 of 7. I just pulled in. He's like, run downstairs. Just do I don't. It's like, I got sweatpants. Like, I don't care. Just go down, do your set, and then go back and change and just up for the 9. But can you do that? I'm like, yeah, I guess I have to. I literally went down, sweatpants, flip flops.
You will stay with your toes out.
And a t-shirt that says, I'm the man from Nantucket. Oh my God. So, dude, I was like, it was the most uncomfortable, like flip-flops. And the comedians are like, what the hell? I was like, dude, I just got here. And they're like, it's a 7 o'clock. I was like, dude, nobody told me. And then they realized, they look on the sheet that they pulled off, and my email, that was the only one that was on the email.
Wow.
So they totally effed me. And they're like, all right, well, go do what you got to do. So I did a tight 10, a very tight 10, and brought it right up and said, do your thing. And I ran out to the car and changed and came back for the in between the feature and headline. I'm like, oh man, that was brutal. That was brutal.
Damn.
No, I look like an idiot, man. And I can't stand to look unprofessional.
Well, I've done that too. I mean, because sometimes you say, well, I'll shower and change when I get to the gig.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like something happened on the road. Because I was up in Pittsburgh at the Funny Bone, and I didn't wash. Ew. I didn't have brushed my teeth. I had on
the microphone,
man, and I had on this Eagles jersey, and I'm going up on stage, and these ladies started heckling me from Pittsburgh. Take off that Eagles jersey, and I'm like, wait a minute. I said, we all Pennsylvania, and they were just going off. I said, well, listen here, y'all. At that time, I said, y'all done won 4 Super Bowls. We haven't won any.
Yeah.
If I should be booing, I should be booing you bitches. They would boo, take off that jersey, Eagles. I'm like, well, damn. And come to find out, the women up in Pittsburgh are worse than the men when it comes to the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. They are ravenous fans.
Like, these women are crazy. I mean, guys were like, we are Pittsburgh, it's okay. But the women, fuck you, take off that. I'm like, listen here, sir. I be madam, please.
I've seen when they show a Steelers Cleveland game or something, they're showing the women in the stands more than the men because they're going insane. They got a vein popping, they're taunting.
Yeah, titties, just the veins, all of the titties and shit. Like,
they would put them to the side. Like, it's not about the women today. This is just about me angry.
They were mean bitches up in Pittsburgh. I was like, she was yelling at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
And that was the rough part. I love doing a funny bone, but towards the end when they had no people, I did a Thursday night in that big dome that seats 350 people.
It was bad.
8 people on a Thursday night. That was rough, man.
It was crazy.
And they were all spread out. They were literally 8 people. There's 2 couples each. There were 4 couples, and they were one over here, one over here, one over here. And they were in the deep into the darkness. So you couldn't even see them.
Wait, is that the one where they had? Oh, please, Lord, I hope people don't get mad. But they had
deep into the darkness. You know that.
They had patio chairs and seats in the club. Was that the one?
That was the one when they went to the hotel.
No, the hotel had regular seats, had tables, but when they had the one downtown across where everything, because I think an Improv opened down right down the street from, but they had actually like what's those plastic chairs? That was the chairs lined up in the whole club when I was there. I was there maybe 3 times, and those plastic chairs, they not friendly chairs to fat people.
That is correct.
And I was like, wait a minute, these are the chairs, and they had rows and rows of, I forgot what residents, whatever they call chairs. I was like, wow. But it was a good club when they had people, but during the end, it was nobody there.
Nobody.
And then we moved to the restaurant and the hotel, and that wasn't bad. It was a little bit more intimate.
Yeah.
But then that just started going.
They went south because they didn't advertise. They were trying to just ride it out to the bitter end.
Wow. Cool.
And then at that point, I remember going out there, and then they would co-headline the 2 people. So when I went out there was no opener. So whoever went first. Oh. So that was the worst part about it. You had to go up and do like a cold 35-40.
I can't.
Because nobody else warmed you up. So nobody warmed the crowd. So they always thought that you were like this opener for 5 minutes. And they're all like, they're looking at their watch like, why is he still going? It's like, yeah, because the opening act is like 35-40 minutes.
I do remember opening. I think I went up there twice maybe and opened. Then he moved me to headliner, and I don't think I ever headlined the actual club. I think
they moved first,
but when they moved, then he headlined me at the
hotel.
The hotel,
yeah,
hotel was nice. Don't ask my wife about that hotel because we took my baby girl up there. She cried the whole way to Pittsburgh, and then when I came back for the show, I came in the room. She was still crying, and I started looking at her eyes like, "You better take this baby because I'm about to kill this little bitch." I was like, "Whoa!"
Was she like colic or something? What the hell happened?
No, she was just a cry. We were just talking about that. This little girl. We drove to Disney one year.
She must have been reading. She must have been reading the income tax from the funny bone.
She didn't like being in the car seat. She didn't like to be strapped down.
Oh, yeah.
And she liked to move and get around. And being confined like that, she cried from Philly all the way to Florida.
Oh God!
The whole time. Now my father-in-law is a very mild guy. Never says, never
Even
gets
he
loud.
lost it?
He lost it, but he did it in the car. He said, "Baby," he said, you need to take a nap or something right there.
Oh my God, I would drive me insane. That would drive me insane.
But here, we got to Florida. Guess what happened?
She stopped.
She went to sleep.
Yep.
This little bitch. I mean, that we drove straight through, and she cried the whole way down.
That's a hell gig, even if you're not going to a show. That's
my baby, I love it, but she cried. Listen, for the whole year straight, man, we did not sleep.
She didn't like to be strapped in, so she's not. She didn't like to
strap.
that's good.
Well, yeah, that's cool. That's true.
No S&M for
unless
the-
she like to wear one, but anyway, I mean, it's
No
not my
dog
business.
collar, no straps. She wants to be footloose and fancy free.
And she did not like being in that car seat, but that's what I remember about Pittsburgh. Because I also remember about Pittsburgh. It was one time we had the minivan you had. I know I had like 30 kids, and
I remember your minivan.
I was coming back from one of the shows, and you know when it was downtown, the hotel was at the where they started doing the club.
It was like 15 minutes away. Yeah.
But my minivan couldn't make it up the hill because it was so icy. My ship go.
There's a bad weather gig when you can't get back to the hotel.
I was like, and at that time there was no GPS, so I'm like trying to figure it out to go around and get back. Oh, it's funny now, but then I was like, what? I ain't gonna see my
You probably
kid.
had fallen ball tires, man. You're trying to. How's the ball tires not working on ice?
Pittsburgh is just.
It's all hills. It's all hills.
And I put that bitch in low gear. Yeah, right.
Praying? Were you praying the whole time? Please go up. Please go up.
So I had to. I somehow I maneuvered and went around and got back to the hotel. Thank God. But
even the hotel had a little bit of an upgrade.
yeah, there was
I mean, there was no way getting around it.
Listen, and my daughter just moved to Pittsburgh. One of my daughters.
Oh God.
Pittsburgh is nice during the summer.
Oh, it is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Nice.
Winter's not so nice.
Nice, I couldn't say. And that's an ugly ass bridge. Listen. I love Pittsburgh people, but that's not my.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Call him up and yell at him. Taunt him. All right, listen. You've been watching Talking Comedy, and that is going to wrap up our bad weather and a little bit of hellacious gigs all in one show. So I'm Corey Alexander.
Coleman Green.
And thank you for watching. Watch us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Sign up, like us, follow us. We'll see you soon.
OnlyFans.
Comedy Train.